a brief morning shower or two, otherwise cloudy and cooler, with a high 57. For AccuWeather.com on Rejoice 101.3 FM, 990 AM, I'm Garrett Beck.
If anyone asks, you're listening to Rejoice, WREJ, Richmond 101.3 FM, 990 AM.
Have you heard about growing plants and rocks and not sure what exactly is going on? Then go to Ashland Ace Hardware, and they will show you how. First, buy the book Riverstones Grow Plants by Richard Campbell from either Ashland Ace or Barnes & Noble. Then get your supplies from the hardware store. You will read how to assemble indoor gravel gardens, eating fresh microgreens and sprouts in just 10 days. Time to have your own produce section at home to add daily fresh nutrition to your salads, sandwiches, soups, and smoothies. Harvest, eat, and repeat, and grow fresh produce for decades at home, indoors, or outdoors. Get the book, Riverstones Grow Plants, from Ashland Ace Hardware or Barnes & Noble. Grow in peace as rock is the new green in 2018.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. And because I know who holds the future, my life, my life, my life, my life, my life is worth the living just. Not because all the bills are paid. Just. Not because everything's going right in my house. Just. Not because I got the job I want. Just. Not because I got the car I want. But just. Somebody give him a thunderous applause and amazing praise and lift him up because he's worthy. He's worthy. He's worthy. He's
All right, all right, all right. Hello, Richmond. Hello, world. That's right. We got the Gospel Fusion early off this time. You're tuned in to the Ricky Rocks Talk Show with your host, Rich Campbell, here on Rejoice, WREJ Richmond, 101.3 FM, 990 AM. The Ricky Rock Show, that's where rocks grow plants and Gospel Fusion helps you dance. We started off this show with our Hezekiah Gospel Fusion mix. And on today's show, we first like to say happy Good Friday to all of you all. Happy Easter this weekend. Enjoy your Easter egg hunts. We are going to do ours the same with our family. And that brings me to the topics of today's show. For today, we're going to talk about testing results. We did testing all up and down the East Coast, from University of Pennsylvania, University of Delaware. We've got testing results from Clemson University and the North Carolina Department of Agricultural Consumer Services Division, who've also done some great testing, as well as results from UGA, University of Georgia Bulldogs. So we're going to look first about what happened in these tests and, kind of what was the key takeaways. And a second key topic on today is all about family. It's all about the first family of geological agriculture. I've got here in the studio with me my wife and kids, and they help be the backbone of this rock journey that I'm on. So we've got them here in the studio, and we're going to ask them questions about how is life with the rock guy and, how has it been in their world, watching Daddy do his thing around the country. And so what we're going to do now, we are going to first talk about these university results. I'm looking at them right now, and basically what we did is we dropped off 22 samples at 5 universities and institutions from Pennsylvania down to South Carolina and Georgia, as well as Delaware. And we dropped off plant tissue test, and that's where you give an actual live plant grown in gravel. And then we dropped off water samples. Now, why water samples, you're asking? Soil test is what people use to test soil. Well, in the geological agriculture world, when you want to know what's in the rock and what the rock will feed the water, you do water tests. And how you do that is you take your river rock or your ocean rock, which we also did at Clemson University, and you take that rock, you put it in a container of water and let it sit there for 2 days, 5 days, 10 days. And then you test the base water with the mineralized gravel water. That way you can tell exactly what is in the water. Well, we've got our test results back, and let's look at the UGA, University of Georgia. So what we did there at our plant test, we took sunflower microgreens, as well as pea shoot microgreens, peas, cilantro, wheatgrass, and beans. We gave them to the lab, and they gave us back the reports of nutrition. And drum roll, please. Brrrr, ding. Well, it turns out that gravel-grown plants are really nutritious. These plants were tested at the 3, 4, and 5-week range and compared to plants at the 12 and 16-week range, the mature plants. And we found high increases of phosphorus, which is excellent for the body. In our pea shoots by themselves, they are 147% more phosphorus count than in soil-grown snap peas. 191% more sulfur count. So some of the things that gravel seems to add to our vegetables when you grow in gravel is you have higher higher phosphorus, higher nitrogen, higher sulfur, also higher copper, iron, manganese, and molybdenum. I don't know what molybdenum is, but it sure sounds like a cool and funky name. And so the UGA test results really conclusively demonstrated that the 7 plant types that they tested, all of the nutrient counts are either normal or exceedingly higher than normal. There are a few areas where there's few deficiencies of calcium, off a couple percent, and the microgreens, the peas off a couple percent, and the manganese. But other than that, the rest of your nutrient categories were strong with the gravel grow plants. And so gravel is tested thumbs up in their nutrition testing category. And then we have our results from the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. They also tested sunflowers. Now, the interesting thing there is we gave, UGA 2-week and 4-week-old sunflower microgreens. And we gave the Department of Agriculture in North Carolina 3-week-old microgreens and sprouts. And guess what we found? We found that the nutrition level for this sunflower sprout actually starts at a certain level, peaks out in week 2 and 3, and then begins to fall in week 4. So what that shows is that these gravel grown plants have a peak nutritional value height, especially with our sunflower sprouts. And then we did the same thing with our Penn State, Pennsylvania University of Penn State participated, and we took their wheatgrass tissues and compared them to the UGA wheatgrass. The one was 3 weeks of UGA, the UPenn was 4 weeks, and we see a rising nutrient value from the 3rd to the 4th week. So as the weeks go on, you do see rising nutrient value. But then in the 5th week, we anticipate a little fall off for 6 weeks. So a lot of our microgreens and plants that we do grow in gravel grow well, peak out in nutrition in the 2nd or 3rd week, and then fall off after that. And then what else do? We did water tests. We did a 4-day water test in regular river rock. And that's what the North Carolina Department of Agriculture did. And with there, we see a 43% increase in calcium, 14% increase in potassium. Also, sodium up 46%. All 3 of those elements, calcium, potassium, sodium, are good for plant development. So the water that the mineralized gravel water helps is now we see exactly. Now we looked at UGA's water test, University of Georgia Bulldogs, and we see that the calcium, now they did a 10-day test. The Department of Agriculture in North Carolina did a 4-day test, which means that the water sat in the gravel for 4 days, or the water sat in the gravel for 10 days. On the 10-day test, we see that calcium is up 65%. So basically, each day in calcium, you get a 5% rise in the nutrient value of calcium. So that means that this water is feeding the rock, is feeding that water every single day a few percentage points more of nutrient material. And potassium is 28%. On the 4-day rock, it was at 14%. So we're seeing that just, double the days, double the value. Magnesium was 25% up compared to 4% at the 4-day rock. So we're seeing what this shows is that the longer the rock stays in the water, the stronger the water gets. Now we did something really interesting. Gravel gardening, the rules of it say river rock, grow plants. And river rock is sedimentary rock, but also, which is sedimentary rock, is ocean rock. So made up of the same compounds, sea life that fossilized into a rock over thousands of years makes the rock, hence gravel gardening. Well, Clemson did a 14-day Outer Banks. We went to Outer Banks, North Carolina, my family and I, and right after we break into our We Are Family disco fusion, we know we family, y'all, we're going to talk about our family experiences. But we took our family trip to the Outer Banks. We got rocks from the sea, and we sent them down to Clemson after sitting in water for 10 days. And the 14-day, Clemson test shows that calcium, the big thing, potassium, the strongest of the nutrients for plants, is up 274%. Now, that's a big, huge number. Basically, base tap water calcium is, say, 1.63, and Outer Banks water is 6.1. That's a 274% increase in the potassium count, which means that plants that grow in the Outer Banks river rock or ocean rock is going to grow much better, much stronger. Magnesium up only 25% after 10 days in river rock is up 77% after 14 days in the Outer Banks ocean rock. So we see a lot of good, and then doubling. We see a doubling in zinc, a doubling in iron, doubling in nitrogen in this ocean rock. So basically what God is telling us is all rock is not the same. All of his river rocks are slightly different. We kind of knew that in our geological agriculture world because we see that when we grow with one rock to another, there are differences. And so we did expect to have some differences of nutrient content from our ocean rock and our river rock. Both strong, both will last a lifetime, but it seems like, boom, boom, the ocean rock is the winner. And speaking of the final competition, before we move to the next part of the segment, we did our studies with soil versus gravel at home, and sorry, soil folks, gravel is kicking soil's rear end. And it's partly because our sprouts that grow in soil die quickly. I couldn't even grow a good crop of the broccoli sprouts and sunflower sprouts. The sunflowers did okay, but the broccoli sprouts and the alfalfa sprouts died because the soil starts to decay. So gravel wins against the soil test growing in your basement, and gravel wins against the university test on the university test platforms. We're going to stop right there and take a quick interlude into our first gospel fusion song, We Are Family. The Sister Sledge people, you know, back in the day, we found a nice good mix on DJ YouTube. We're going to give it a couple minutes and come back to you on the Ricky Rocks Talk Show. Here we go. We are family here on the Ricky Rocks Talk Show. And on today's show, we have our in-studio guests. We call them the first family of GeoAg. I got my family in here. I've got Mr. Logan. Say hi, Logan.
Hi. Hi.
And I've got Miss Sylvia. Say hi, Miss Sylvia.
Hello.
And I got the rock in my foundation, the core of the GeoAg world, my wife, Miss Sheranda Campbell. Bring us greetings, Miss Sheranda.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So thank you guys for coming into the studio today. And I guess we'll start with Miss Sylvia. We'll ask you your first question. You know, what's life been like with Daddy living with the rocks at home? What's it been all about for you?
It's good.
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good response. That is good. What about you, Mom? What do you think about, you know, what we've got going on in the rocks and how people can use this or work with this out there?
So what's been really interesting for us and the kids is that the projects with the schools. So in each of the kids' schools, you've gone in and worked with the teachers and the administrators and created gravel gardening projects. Sometimes they turn into clubs. Some schools have used them as STEM projects for to teach kids about science. The kids have been a part of maintaining the gardens, and even some schools have taken the concept and tried to use it in writing exercises. The kids to write thank you letters or write about their experience with the gardens. And it's been interesting to see the manifestation of that, how it has legs, and then parents take it. And surprisingly, one time we went to a birthday party for Sylvia, and the parent it was a birthday party in the park, and the parent had this activity where the kids were putting together gravel grow cups and putting seeds in and taking them home as a party favor. So it's been really interesting to watch.
Okay. No, I like that. Working with the kids and families. And since the kids are here, Mom mentioned that we come into your schools with the rocks. Sylvia, you want to talk about how we came? Did we come to your school? What did we do there? What did you think about it?
My dad came to my school about 2 times.
Okay.
At my new school and my old school.
And what did we do there?
He made gravel grow cups.
Okay. And what about you, Logan? You have any, Mom said we come to your school and do things with the gravel grow cups. You want to talk about what we've done at your school?
Well, in pre-K, you set up gravel gardens, and every month or week, so we used to pick out the gravel garden and then make a salad that everybody could eat.
Oh, at school? You guys would eat it at school?
Yeah, pre-K.
Oh, okay. And what about you, Mom? You talk about it outside the home with doing it as a school project or a family project. What about the foods inside the home? How have you? What has been your experience with the gravel grown foods inside the home?
Okay. I'm going to speak to that, but I just want to mention one other thing that was really interesting at with the project with the STEM. You came into the class, and then like the following year, Logan came home, and his class was actually conducting a test for science class, looking at the difference between gravel growing and the soil growth and measuring them. And at home, it's been nice because we get to eat gravel grown food, not just in the summertime, but on seasons, off seasons, like in the winter, because you grow a lot inside the house.
Absolutely. And just to clarify to folks out there what happened there, sometimes when we go into a school and introduce the school to it, the school will adopt it on their own and then do their own versions of growing in gravel with the students in their classrooms after I'm gone. And that's the kind of thing we like to see happen. And I'm so happy to see that these schools have taken it on. So any final words, any recommendations, Ms. Sheranda, Mr. Logan, that you'd like to give to people out there thinking about working with the rocks to grow plants?
That you can do it in small spaces. We've used it, have gravel grow in DC. We have only a small yard, and now we kind of have a little bit more space, but it works in both locations. And
Sylvia, you have one last thing to say?
You can also use recyclable things to put the gravel grow cups in.
Excellent point. Yeah, we can use recyclable things to put the gravel grow cup in. And any final words from the Prince of the Palace, Mr. Athlete and Musician Logan? Any last words?
So gravel garden is always enjoyable to get out of. Like when I was younger in like 1st or 2nd grade, every time after school I used to go to the gravel garden and get some pea shoots and eat them.
And that was a funny thing. I would see it. I would like, what is going on? My son is eating this out of the garden. What's going on? And that actually started when I watched him with these pea shoots. That started the gravel grow cups that we do. It started the whole plastic recycling program. And it started my pursuit and effort into the microgreens. Well, guys out there in Richmond and in the world, we are glad you were able to listen in to the Ricky Rocks Talk Show today. My producer is telling me it's time to wrap it up. Well, let's just give our final shout outs to all the people we have to give out. Riverstones Grow Plants is the book available at Barnes & Nobles. You get that. It shows you how to grow plants and rocks, absent of soil and fertilizer. The rules of gardening and rock is very different than the rules of gardening and soil. So go to Riverstones Grow Plants, Barnes & Nobles, or on Amazon. You also want to get your supplies from your local hardware store. Ace Hardware is very great out there in Ashland. Great people out there. Pleasance here. Also, we're going to be posting all of our test results from all of our universities on Facebook, on our social media Facebook page, To Soil Less. That's TOSOILLESS. That's also our website, TOSOILLESS, To Soil Less. So on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, go to tosoilless.com. You can download the book Riverstones Grow Plants by me, Richard Campbell. And it looks like our time is coming up. One last thing, don't forget to look at these test results. Oh, and next week, actually on Tuesday, I go to Oakland, California to be out there with the Oakland International Film Festival. I'll be speaking on a panel of the future of food, and they call me a futurist, y'all. So this is Ricky Rocks and Rich Campbell on the Ricky Rocks Talk Show saying, again, happy Easter and Good Friday on WREJ Richmond, 101.3 FM, 990 AM. Ricky Rocks out, y'all. What if we told you that you can now go to the hardware store, get a bag of rock sand and seeds and eat? What if we told you there was a new science called geological agriculture, the study of growing plants and rocks without soil and fertilizer? Well, these are no longer what-if statements. This is the new reality. Rocks can, in fact, grow plants for you to eat, like broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, wheatgrass, and microgreens, as well as beans, peas, cucumbers, cilantro, tomatoes, tulips, and more. The book Riverstones Grow Plants by Richard Campbell shows us how to grow plants and rocks indoors or outdoors. Turn that 6-foot table into the new produce section of your home. Get the book Riverstones Grow Plants from Barnes & Nobles and the supplies from your hardware store. Rock is the new green in 2018 with the book Riverstones Grow Plants by Richard Campbell.
If anyone asks, you're listening to Rejoice, WREJ, Richmond, 101.3 FM, 990 AM. Uplift your day with afternoon inspiration with Brother